last couple of videos, we discussed the American War of Independence. Do you remember what it was? It can be considered the first political revolution against a foreign power. It was also the first expression of nationalism. But to understand this concept of nationalism, in these videos we will be talking about the French Revolution. The French Revolution was also a similar revolution that was intended to overthrow a foreign power. Who was that foreign power? And what shape did this revolution take? These are some of the ideas that we will be discussing in the subsequent videos on the French Revolution. Can you tell me what do we see here? What does this map show? This map shows Europe in the 1700s. But are you familiar with this map? I don't think so, because Europe in the 18th century comprised certain multinational empires. Some of those empires were the Ottoman Empire that existed beyond Europe. Few monarchies were the Habsburg monarchy, the French monarchy, the Spanish monarchy. Now, what are monarchies and empires? These are huge territorial units that were ruled by one single ruler. And these units were so big in size that these contained within them certain modern nation states. But do you think these monarchies exist even today? Have you heard anyone telling that they would go visit the French monarchy or the Habsburg monarchy? Definitely not. Then what happened to these monarchies? Why don't these exist today? Let's find that out. Contrary to the map that we saw in the last slide, this is the map of the present day Europe. Can you see a lot of changes in this map? I hope you can. The erstwhile monarchies, which were huge territorial units, have been replaced by smaller, modern, independent nations. These independent nations are much smaller in size compared to the erstwhile monarchies. All these nations are now independent. Most of these nations are now democratic in nature. What does that mean? That means that the citizens of these nations get to elect their own representatives. Most of these nations are also liberal in nature. That means that these nations ensure certain rights and liberties to their citizens. Now, if you see the difference between these two maps, that is Europe in the 1700s and Europe as we can see today, there is a lot of territorial change. What caused this territorial shift? Why did this political landscape suddenly change over time? Do you think this was a very sudden transformation? To know more about this, we would have to talk about the French Revolution. The questions we raised previously bring us to the point that what caused this shift in the political landscape? What was the exact reason? Do you think there was only one major reason that caused this political shift, or was this a slow, gradual transformation? Do you think there was only one event that changed the course of Europe? Now, what was that one reason? That one event that changed the course of Europe? Let's find that out. Today, many historians attribute this political shift to the outbreak of the French Revolution. That is to say, the French Revolution was a turning point in human history. Why a turning point in human history? Because along with changing the political landscape of Europe, it brought manifold changes in the history of the world. But what were those changes? And why is the French Revolution such crucial when it comes to any discussion on the spirit of nationalism? The French Revolution was a major political revolution in its own right. Do you know why? Do you think that it is important only because it changed the French monarchy to the Republic of France? Or what there are the reasons? The French Revolution gave birth to a lot of new concepts that eventually shaped the course of the world. That is to say, the French Revolution was the fountainhead of many concepts that shaped the world that you and I live in today. Now, what were those concepts? As we have previously discussed, that the French Revolution was a major political expression of nationalism. It is by the virtue of nationalist sentiments that the French Revolution took place. But what were the outcomes of the French Revolution? This was a democratic revolution, which means that the power was at the disposal of the common people. And in turn, this democratic revolution inspired further democratic revolutions throughout this world. Which is why many countries that gained independence subsequent to the French Revolution were directly inspired by this one democratic revolution. Which is why the French Revolution is a very crucial turning point in the human history. Along with that, the French Revolution gave birth to the concept of liberalism. Liberalism that ensures the well-being of the citizens of any nation. Liberalism that ensures certain rights and liberties to the citizens of a nation. In fact, it also gave birth to many ideologies, one of which is liberalism. Few other ideologies that took shape after this French Revolution were the concepts of liberty, equality, and fraternity. In fact, you would be surprised to know that these three concepts became the clarion call of the French Revolution. Will you be surprised if I tell you that the very word ideology also came into being from this French Revolution? It is for this reason that the French Revolution can be considered a watershed moment in human history. In ways more than one, it shaped our today's world. In the subsequent lessons, we will be discussing the French Revolution at greater length. That is, what was the background of the French Revolution, what led to the outbreak of the French Revolution, how did it happen, what course it took, and what were the outcomes of this revolution. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers or to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million-plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it's rewarding too. So register for free now.